As you learn about the narcissistic pattern, it's also wise to reflect on the much healthier alternatives. Now, below, you're going to find a link to my new extensive course called Ready, Set, Connect. It addresses both the mindset and the skills involved in gratifying relationships, and I hope you'll find it to be quite therapeutic. You know, as you engage with narcissists on an ongoing basis, one of the most disheartening features of it all is you just feel like you're being dehumanized. They don't see your humanity. How many times have you thought to yourself, this person in front of me doesn't know me, nor do they have any willingness or a desire to know who I am from the inside out? Or perhaps you've thought something like, this person, whenever they have a desire, they just treat me like dirt. They treat me like an animal. No offense to Gus on that one. Or they treat me like I'm just some sort of nobody. Or sometimes you might think that as long as I do whatever's on their agenda, whatever's on their list, then I'm going to be okay. But ultimately, it's all about that list, not about the human beings that are involved in this person's life. Or perhaps you might have thought, when I disagree with this individual, it's awful. I'm treated with no civility whatsoever, and I'm just spoken to as if I am an absolute, completely impossible kind of person. That's what I mean when I talk about feeling dehumanized. They don't see your humanity. They have no need to enter into that space. And as I have spoken with individuals through the years who have had this dehumanization process, there are two very strong variables that I recognize that drive this dehumanizing process from the narcissist toward you. One is just sheer ignorance. And when I say sheer ignorance, what I mean is that these narcissists will approach you with no thoughtfulness whatsoever, a lack of conscientiousness, a lack of logic, a lack of reasoning, a lack of insight. Whatever they think, feel, or desire in the moment is the only thing that matters, and it's just plain dumb. You cannot get through to these people. And then a second driver, beyond that sheer ignorance, is what I'm going to refer to as condescending delight. It's like they take delight in running other individuals into the ground. There's a sadistic element there. In the narcissist's mind, it's like, yeah, I really need to be a conqueror. I like being a conqueror. I feel good when I have vanquished another individual. And what that requires is someone has to play the role of the dupe. And guess who that someone's going to be? Because you see, in the narcissist's mind, it's like, well, now I feel all powerful. And they need that. So that combination of sheer ignorance and condescending delight just pushes them further and further into that dehumanization process. Now, once they are in those two ingredients, then certain trends tend to come along as they engage with you that perpetuate this lack of seeing you with any kind of humanity. First and foremost, one of the trends you're going to see is that these individuals will think and speak in very broad generalizations. For example, they may say things like, well, every woman I've ever known is this way, or every man is this way, or somebody who's in this political party, whether it's the Republicans or Democrats or whatever country you're in, the people who are in those groups, well, then they all think alike. That's what I mean when I say generalizations. Everybody on my wife's side of the family, or the folks down in the PR department or HR department, or anyone who's in a different kind of ethnicity from me, they're all this way. And they don't take time to think whatsoever. In addition, another pattern that goes right along with that is they use a lot of binary thinking. You're either with me or you're against me. You're smart, you're stupid. They have no appreciation for mitigating circumstances. They have no appreciation for learning about someone's backstory or your history of influences or your unique needs or idiosyncrasies. It's like, I don't think that way. It's just black or white. That's pretty much it. Another pattern that goes along with their sheer ignorance and their condescending delight is they're constantly in a self-promotion mode only. Seeing your humanity would cause them to have to think, well, wait a minute, that means that I have to take myself out of the center space for long enough to find out who you are. Nah, it's all about me, and that's the only thing I really care about. And so they're constantly promoting themselves. And then there's another pattern or trend that goes along with their dehumanization of you, and that is they have this almost deliberate lack of they have a bad memory. Easier for me to say. They have a bad memory regarding who they are. In other words, let's not talk about my history of being hurt, or my history of making mistakes, or my history of having many emotional strains, or disappointments, or miscalculations. I don't want to think like that. All I care about is focusing on you. I don't want to get in touch with some of the things that have caused me to have to struggle in my life. We're not going to go into that space. Likewise, another trend that goes way hand in hand with their dehumanizing of you is they have no conception of love, period. They're so full of themselves that taking care of oneself is the only thing that matters, and there's no sense of goodness and decency and kindness toward you. It's like, I don't need to go into that space. And on top of that, you can see that hubris is just a centerpiece to who they are. And when I say hubris, they're completely and totally full of oneself. Now you can see that that when a person comes at you with this dehumanizing style, and they have this this ignorance, and they have this condescending delight toward you, it begs certain questions, and I dare say they're not going to be able to answer those questions very well. But you'd like to ask questions like, well, if you're going to dehumanize me, then what does give you fulfillment? And their answer is, you're groveling. I like it when you grovel. It's like, what kind of person thinks that way? Or another question that this begs is, well, how do you find contentment in life then? And the answer is creating disarray in you. That makes me feel pretty good. Really? That's it, huh? Yep, that's it. Or another question is, well, how should we manage ourselves when we have inevitable differences? And their answer is, I'll crush you. I'll destroy you. If you differ from me, that's what I do. That's my conflict resolution strategy. And it's like, you honestly think that way? Or another question is, well, how would you approach other individuals when you see they have needs, or when there's a certain softness that's required there? It's like, well, what I do is I ignore the needs, and I don't need to be soft. I'll just shame them for who they are. I have no willingness to go into that personal space. Or another question you might want to ask is, well, how then should you and I proceed in our relationship? And they have one answer for that one too, and that is, okay, we proceed by understanding I matter, you don't. That's what I mean when I say they dehumanize you. Now, having said all that, I'm wondering what it would be like if you were to decide, well, I'm going to rehumanize myself. And to do so, there's going to be certain ideas and thoughts that you're going to hold on to. And the first thought when you rehumanize yourself is, I'm free to be who I am. And it's not just a right that I have. I mean, yes, it is, but it goes beyond that. Me being free to be who I am is my responsibility, and I'm going to accept that responsibility gladly. As I rehumanize, I'm going to remind myself that I'm a mixture of pluses and minuses, strengths and weaknesses. So are you. I accept that, and I'm going to work with myself knowing that I'll never have perfection, but that's just part of my humanity. Other times, as part of the rehumanization, I'm also going to remind myself there are many times when I make a lot of sense, and then sometimes when I don't. You know what that means? It means I'm still trying to figure me out. And I hope that I continue to try to figure myself out for the rest of my life. That's what I claim. In addition, I'm going to remind myself as I rehumanize, yes, I am a member of groups, but I'm also a member, or I'm also an individual first, and I'm not going to overlook my singular distinctions just to fit into the group think that the narcissist wants me to get into. In addition, as part of your rehumanizing, you're going to remind yourself, I have a past, I have a present, I have a future. I'm more than just what you need me to be in the moment that you say that you want something from me. I'm other, just as you're other. What that means is variety is part of life, and I'm going to celebrate that, and I'm going to allow that to be, and we can actually gain from one another when we seek one another out in our uniqueness. And basically, as part of my reclaiming my humanity, I'm going to remind myself that I want to be someone who's constantly learning, discovering, and creating. That's what keeps me alive. Now, the narcissist is going to come back at you with that sheer ignorance. They're going to come back with you to you with that condescending delight, that sense that says, well, I find my sense of pleasure by running you into the ground. And it illustrates to you as you examine this, that this is a mind that has given up on oneself. This is a mind that has given up on other individuals. And you know what my reaction to that is? I need to get onto a path that's far more optimistic, and I need to connect with individuals who don't have that kind of pessimism in mind. I'm not going to be a party to that kind of thinking. Dehumanize all you want in your life. I claim my uniqueness, and I'm going to stand in it and live in it and learn and grow. That's who I am. Now, I hope this gives you a good contrast about where they are versus where you're going to be going. That's what I try to do here on the Surviving Narcissism channel. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so, and we'll keep more videos coming your direction. I hope it's part of your ongoing sense of personal education. Likewise, if you have a need for therapy, and many times when you're exposed to this kind of pattern and treatment from other individuals, it would be good to have someone who could help you sift it out. That's why I'm so glad that I'm sponsored by the people at BetterHelp.com. I can refer to them, and there's a whole team of licensed professional therapists that you can work with online, which makes it very affordable and accessible. And so please, as the need is there, get the assistance that you would need. I strongly encourage you to go in that direction. Likewise, I've put together a bunch of or several online classes. It's like signing up for a course, and each class has multiple videos, like 25 or more, with written documentation with each one, guided questions. We have Ready, Set, Connect about making healthy connections. We have This Is Me about establishing your boundaries, Free to Be, finding yourself despite those controllers. Likewise, on my website, we have lots of articles. We have my access to my other webinars that I have, and podcasts and books, plenty of resources there. So run through their website and see what might be there to help you. That's what we're here for. Okay, the narcissist can't see your humanity because they're not even in touch with their own humanity. So how in the world are they going to offer to you something they don't even possess on the inside of themselves? I get that. That's where they are, but you don't have to join them there, and you don't have to stay pinned down by their dehumanizing of you. I'm hoping you can be vibrant and you can be alive and forward moving, because that's what we do here on Team Healthy. And as you do, I'm hoping it positions you to be the person of peace that they're not able to be. But in fact, I do hope that you're able to find your sense of internal peace.